The desert had a way of swallowing lonely men whole, and Elias Crow had been lonely for far too long. His ranch sat at the edge of forgotten land where the red earth cracked, like old scars, and the wind spoke, more than people ever did. Years had passed since he'd last heard laughter inside his home. Years since his wife's illness took her and left. Behind a silence so heavy it pressed on his chest every night, Elias worked, slept, and woke like a man moving through fog, believing that the land was the only thing that still needed him. One evening, while tracking a missing calf near the canyon border, he rode farther than he ever had before. Crossing into land the locals warned him never to enter. The sun dipped fast, shadows stretched long, and before he could turn back, arrows sliced the air around him with terrifying precision. His horse reared, Elias fell hard against the dust, and when he looked up, he saw them, Apache women, fierce and silent, emerging from the rocks like spirits of the land itself. Their eyes held no fear, only judgment. His hands were bound before he could speak, his rifle taken, his fate sealed by the calm authority of the tallest woman among them, whose silver-adorned braids and steady gaze made even the desert seem to hold its breath. They took him not as a prisoner to be killed, but as a question yet to be answered. The women's tribe lived hidden within a natural fortress of stone and mesquite, a place shaped by generations of survival without men. Long ago, betrayal and bloodshed had taught them that men brought war, sickness and loss. They hunted, governed, and protected themselves with discipline and ritual. Elias was brought before their council at dawn, weak from thirst but unbroken in spirit. He did not beg, he did not boast. When accused of trespassing, he spoke plainly, admitting his mistake, offering no lies. That honesty unsettled them more than fear would have. Days passed, and instead of execution, he was given labor. He hauled water, repaired fences, treated injured animals with surprising gentleness. The women watched him closely, expecting anger, resentment, or escape. None came. He listened more than he spoke, respected boundaries, and accepted their ways without mockery. Slowly, suspicion gave way to curiosity. What truly changed their hearts was not strength, but kindness. When one of the younger women collapsed from fever, Elias recognized the signs. Immediately, his late wife had suffered the same illness. He worked through the night, brewing remedies from herbs he requested with careful explanation, cooling her skin, whispering encouragement, though she did not understand his language. By morning, the fever broke. The tribe took notice. The elder women whispered among themselves. This man did not see them as enemies, nor as objects, but as people. Over time, laughter returned to the canyon, soft at first, then bolder. Elias taught them ranch skills, and in return learned their songs, their stories, their grief. He no longer felt like a ghost wandering his own life. For the first time in years, he felt seen. If this story is already pulling at your heart, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, because stories like this, stories of healing, courage, and unexpected love, are just beginning. Love does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it grows quietly, like grass breaking through stone. Elias never intended to win hearts, yet one by one, the women of the tribe found themselves drawn to the steadiness of his presence. He did not compete for attention, and that made his attention precious. He honored their customs, sought permission, and treated every woman, young or old, with the same respect. The tribe's leader, Naya, watched him most closely. She had led them since girlhood, bearing the weight of every decision, every loss. She had sworn never to trust a man again, yet when she spoke with Elias beneath the stars, when he listened to her stories without trying to fix or command, something in her hardened heart began to soften. He saw her strength without fearing it. He admired her leadership without trying to claim it. That was new. That was dangerous. When outside raiders threatened the canyon, it was Elias who warned them, who stood beside the women without demanding a weapon or authority. He fought only to protect, never to dominate. The battle was short, decisive, and afterward, the tribe realized something profound. They had not been weakened by his presence. They had been strengthened. The council gathered once more, this time not to judge him, but to ask him a question that changed everything. Would he leave if given the chance? Elias answered honestly. He said he missed his land, but he no longer felt alone here. He said his heart had room for many kinds of love, community, respect, shared purpose. The women looked at one another, and for the first time in generations, they voted to let a man stay by choice, not captivity. Elias was not claimed as property, nor as a ruler, but as a bridge between worlds. The women who loved him did not fight over him. They admired him collectively, each in her own way. Some loved him as a brother, some as a protector, some as a quiet dream they carried alone. Naya loved him as an equal. Together, they redefined what family meant. When Elias finally returned to his ranch months later, it was no longer empty. Trade routes opened. Laughter echoed again. The desert no longer swallowed lonely men. It healed them. And Elias Crow, once forgotten by the world, had won not possession, but something far greater, the hearts of a tribe who chose trust over fear. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you believe in second chances, subscribe to the channel now. More powerful stories of love, destiny, and untold courage are waiting for you. Time reshapes everything it touches, even wounds that once felt permanent. Elias returned to the ranch, but he was no longer the same lonely man who had been swallowed by silence. The land recognized him differently now, as if the soil itself felt the echo of new footsteps following his own. The Apache women did not arrive all at once. They came in seasons, some to trade, some to learn ranch work, some simply to sit beneath the wide sky and feel the strange peace Elias carried with him. The ranch slowly transformed into a place of meeting rather than isolation, a bridge between two worlds that had once feared each other. Elias worked alongside them from sunrise to dusk, never commanding, never owning, only sharing. What drew them closer was the way he carried pain without bitterness. He spoke of his lost wife not with anger, but with gratitude, and that humility made the women feel safe, enough to share their own griefs, mothers lost to war, sisters taken by sickness, childhood shaped by survival rather than choice. Among them Naya visited most often. She did not come as a leader now, but as a woman curious about a life that did not demand constant vigilance. On the ranch, she learned to ride freely across open fields instead of watching canyon walls. Elias watched her laugh for the first time when a stubborn horse outwitted them both. And in that moment, he realized something profound. He was no longer healing alone. The women of the tribe noticed how he treated Naya, not as someone to be conquered or saved, but as someone whose strength deserved rest. Other women felt it too. Some admired him from a distance. Others confided in him during long evenings by the fire, where stories flowed like medicine. Elias never promised love lightly, yet his presence itself became a promise that gentleness could exist without weakness, that trust did not always end in loss. Not everyone welcomed this change. Nearby settlers whispered rumors, unable to understand a man who lived without dominance and women who refused submission. One night, a group of armed men rode toward the ranch, driven by fear and jealousy. Elias stood unarmed at the gate, Apache women at his side, and spoke with a calm that unsettled the attackers more than rifles ever could. He told them this land no longer belonged to loneliness or hate. It belonged to choice. Something in his voice, steady, unafraid, made the men turn back. That night, the women realized Elias had not just won their hearts. He had changed the way others saw them. For the first time, they were not shadows or legends, but partners in a shared future. As stars filled the sky, the women sang old songs with new meanings, and Elias listened, knowing his life had crossed a line it could never uncross. He was no longer just a rancher, nor merely a guest of a tribe. He was proof that even the most guarded hearts could open when met with patience instead of force. If this chapter stirred something deep inside you, remember, stories like this continue only because listeners like you believe in them. Subscribe to the channel and stay with us, because the journey of love, identity, and destiny is far from over.